All right, let's get into our next discussion now. Reports from the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System, called NIBS, suggest that an estimated 2 million account holders with various financial institutions may have abandoned their accounts over the last 2 years due to the introduction of the Bank Verification Number, BVN.
Yes, and this would have linked them to illicit funds flows and transfers tied to corruption. Now, the development, according to the NIBS, led to a drop in the number of active bank customers from 61 million to 59 million as at the end of 2017. The banking sector has made great strides in linking customers' accounts using the BVN, during which some of the accounts suspected to have been funded with slush funds were unveiled.
Now, the report revealed that linked BVN accounts grew from 26 million in 2016 to 41.3 million in 2017. All right, we have joining us now a financial analyst, Ambrose Omor, joining us now. Ambrose, good morning. It's good to have you join us now.
Good morning.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Now, make us understand, even though it's been revealed now that reporters said that the BVN could have been responsible for the drop in the number of those with accounts. Can you take us through how this translates into people losing accounts and the number of account holders dropping?
Before now, I think Nigeria operated like a lawless country, if I would use that language. BVN coming on board is for Nigerians to have data of those that are living here. In anywhere outside the country, you have a unique number for every individual staying there. BVN is another way of having a census or having record of people that are here in Nigeria. To me, it will not deter central bank for going out to do their inclusive banking, but rather it is an eye-opener for them to know the kind of strategy they should adopt at this time, and also go out there for education. BVN helps you to have access to know who has an account and who is not the owner of the account. And if the documentation at the opening of the account is not correct, then the owner will not show face. To me, it's a good step in the right direction that BVN is on board in Nigeria. Then it's not done on BVN to go out there and educate Nigerians on how they can get their record right, so that if there is any way they can correct the one they have done before now, they can go ahead and correct and then leave the account to the rightful owners of the account. But where the document that is needed to open account rightfully is not there, that account should be forfeit. That's what I see. That's the way it should go.
But then again, not too long ago, the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, actually raised the alarm that the banks are really not helping Nigerians and their livelihoods, talking about the different challenges in the way of Nigerians who don't, number one, they don't even have access to banks, how much more the products that the banks have to offer. Is that a major impediment in getting this about 40% unbanked Nigerians into the banking system?
Actually, our banking system here, they do what call armchair banking. And also, they fail to do education for the banking public. Before now, I always tell my people, even at my forum, that the first time I traveled out of this nation, I was in a forum where a bank is organizing what we call banking education for their people, and they are teaching them the importance of saving. Having saving accounts for children is not enough. But our banking system here, or the banks themselves, they are not doing enough to educate Nigeria the importance of banking. When this is done, I will tell you that the banking sector will flourish. People will know the importance of banking. Then you educate them about the charges and all. When they know all this, they will approach the bank. Like what you just said, that the Vice President said, the bank needs to do more to include people in the banking system. I'm telling you, if that is done, there will be a lot of activities or a lot of profit for the banking sector. But let's educate the people, important, and tell them, look at what's going to charge you. Let them be no hidden charges anytime, any day. If the bank is transparent and if people know that the bank, they will all rush to the bank. That is a safer place to save their money.
All right. Well, when you say the banks have to do more, from where we are right now, what are the more that the banks in Nigeria should do? Because like you talked about traveling abroad and all of that, you see banks being involved in all sorts of infrastructural development and financing different kind of things. But here in Nigeria, it's not the same. But if we have to take these steps, what steps should be taken by the banks now to do more?
Yeah, the bank will do more. One, you mentioned infrastructure. The bank on their own over here, they are the one developing their own infrastructure they are using. Especially when we talk of electricity, internet, we talk of the IT. But over there, there's a lot of things that government have done for the bank that will make things easier. The government also will step up at this point. But what I mean by banks should do more, banks should go out and educate the banking public. That is where they should do more. Not sending people to go and market only the big people. Go and educate those in the market. The importance of them saving. It's not that they come and open an account, come and save for your child. Let the child know at some age of 5 that there's what we call savings. These are investment education that government and the banks should do, especially the Nigerian Stock Exchange and the SEC and the banks should come together, take all these investment education back to what? To the schools. When they know, I tell you, at their young age, they will start banking. Down that process, the bank will have enough clients and they have enough customers. In the process, it will reflect on their bottom line. So,
ignorance of the importance of the need to put your money in the bank is part of it. And then again, added to the mix is the lack of incentives. Let me quote the Vice President again. He actually said depositors give their hard-earned funds to banks at single digits but can't get loans less or below double digits when they actually need it. So this is part of the reasons why Nigerians would turn away from, using the banks.
Here, I will not make excuse for any bank. But I will tell you that the VP will be right in saying that, but the VP should understand that these banks are operating on a high, expense. If you go and check the bank's expenses for the expense, you see that they have good expenses they are doing. They are running their bank on themselves, no light. I'm not defending any bank, but before you can sell this, make sure that there are some necessary infrastructure that is on ground to facilitate all this, and the bank will charge low. And also, not only the bank, if the MPR from the central bank is lower, the bank will also go up. If, for example, now in Nigeria, the MPR is 14%, no bank will lend to anybody below 14%. That means it is done on CBN, on MPC, to reduce further their own interest. But this one will be done when there's infrastructure, when business is being run with moderate cost. But when you are running your business with a huge cost, how will you finance your business and pay your staff? These banks are not owned by government. They are there to make profit. They are there to pay their staff. They need to also do more to encourage the banks to reduce their interest. It's not just saying it, because there are a lot of things the banks are going through today.
All right. There are lots of things that are going through. We certainly would understand. But on the floor of the stock exchange, the banks declare huge profits every single day. The banks are making more profit than any company so far in Nigeria from what is declared. Okay. Is that sending a signal to Nigerians that we may not be suffering the way others may be thinking we are?
The bank positive number. I tell you that the banks are there to make profit, and for them to post good number, that means they are doing also their job. Let me tell you, for example, now in a country like us, we have more than 180 million population. If the bank is everywhere, we'll see more good profit. That will be a bank will employ more. As we speak now, before now, 2016, banks will also lay staff, other people later because of the economy. But now the economy is improving. We're seeing a better number from the banks, which is good. That means if the environment is better, the bank can post better number and employ more people. In the process, unemployment will also reduce because the banks are doing well.
Okay, so come to think of it, is there some level of regulatory failure when you hear about unnecessary charges going on in the deposit money banks? What is the CBN doing to ensure that banks don't charge, customers unnecessary, monies that send the wrong signals to those unbanked Nigerians who say, look, when I give them my money, they only end up taking part of it without my permission?
I agree with you. This boils down to, I always say that if the customer knows that they are subjecting him and report to the regulator, they will take steps. But it is on this report is laid on the regulator, they won't take what decision. That means the banking public itself should understand the account. Let them ask their bank officer who question about the account. When it's not clear and as they didn't give you answer, you cannot report. In the process, CBN will be doing more of their regulating. They will put in more checks. But if there is no report, I can see that the two reports that have gone out to CBN, they are taking action. We that are bank owner, account owners of this company, we should sit down and look at what they are charging us. Where we are not clear, ask your account officer. If they're unable to give you a successful answer, you move to the next level. In the process, you made it over to the regulator. They will know what to do. To me, any bank that is doing his charging is doing themselves a huge loss or a huge cost, because the day your customer know that you are charging him, he will raise alarm. You are going to pay for all those parts that you are charging him. You can be doing it today and go free, but the day they will understand and know that that is going on, are going to pay for it. That means the banks will do themselves well by being very transparent.
Yeah, but then again, it's easy to educate an already educated or enlightened population. The Nigerian population is hardly literate. I mean, more than about 70% of the population is actually illiterate. So how do you even begin to educate a largely illiterate population when you have a banking system that is highly automated?
The good thing is that you just said it. It is the work of the regulator and the banks themselves. They should go out and educate the public, because if you really want to increase your deposit, your deposit, you need to go to get more people. Because if you look at even the result that they are announcing, before now, for the last 2017, many banks reported declining deposits. That means people, as you are reported, people are not interested. That means you should go out there and educate them, give them incentive, make sure that you are having transparent deals with these clients, these your customers. In the process, they will always patronize you. But don't say because they are illiterate, you want to cheat them. The day they will know, they are going to pay more for it. They are going to pay more for it. That is what I know.
All right. Nigerians are still very concerned about interest rates. And it's one thing that they've been calling. Quickly before we round off now, talk to us generally. What would it take to reduce interest rates from double digits to single digits? Because that's where investors are looking at, especially Nigerian SMEs.
Yes, I agree with you. But the good thing is that before now, it will be difficult for them to reduce the interest rate just like that. But as we are seeing a declining inflation rate, it is also a signal that they might likely reduce interest rates. But as far as the interest rate from, let's say, the FPR, which is for CBN, is above 2 digits of 10 and above, you don't expect the bank to give one single digit. That means it will start from the CBN when they are making their own policy. There is an opportunity that the way it's going, they are likely to be the interest cut, but that we don't know the time. But looking at the continued decline of the inflation, it's a signal that sooner Nigerians will see gradual cut in interest rate.
All right. Amodion, thank you very much for joining us this morning on TVC Breakfast, enlightening Nigerians, of course, on issues around the banked and unbanked Nigerians. I mean, so some analysts actually say that it's not necessary